From a 73-year-old emperor's bald head being used as a bowling ball, to a young emperor stabbing himself in the heart so his soldiers wouldn't have to die for him, to a third emperor dragged out of a doghouse and killed in the forum, to a fourth emperor who rose from a swamp general to the founder of a whole dynasty. This is the year 69 AD, the year Rome had 4 different emperors in 12 months. The empire that took 700 years to build almost collapsed in 12. All right, fellas, let's rewind. The year is 68 AD, and the man on the throne is Nero, and he's about to lose it. By June of 68 AD, Nero had run out of allies. The Senate declared him a public enemy. The provinces were in open revolt, and his own bodyguards stopped showing up. He fled the city, and in a stranger's villa, ordered a servant to drive a blade into his throat. Nero was dead at 30, and with him died the Julio-Claudian dynasty that had ruled Rome since Augustus. For the first time in a century, the most powerful seat in the world was empty, and every governor with an army realized the same terrifying thing. Anyone could be next.
The throne was open. Bro, rest in peace to anyone with ambition.
First to grab it, Galba, a 73-year-old general, famous for being competent and incredibly cheap. The Senate confirmed him before he even reached Rome. The public expected reform. Instead, within 6 months, he alienated everyone alive. When the Praetorian Guard came to collect the huge bonus they'd been promised for backing him, Galba refused to pay, with a line straight out of a textbook. "I select my soldiers, I do not buy them."
Wrong answer, sir.
He raised taxes, executed Nero's old supporters, stiffed his own legions, and then made the fatal mistake. He passed over Otho, the man who'd backed him from day one, as his heir. Otho went straight to the unpaid, furious Praetorians with a simple offer: "Make me emperor, and I'll pay you." They said yes that same day. On January 15th, 69 AD, they cornered Galba in the forum and beheaded him. And because Galba was completely bald, the soldier carrying his head couldn't grip it. So he stuck his thumb in the dead emperor's mouth and carried it back to camp like a bowling ball. Otho was now emperor, and Otho lasted 95 days.
3 months. New record.
He did everything right, paid the guard, restored Nero's popular policies, named an heir, but it didn't matter, because while Otho was busy fixing Rome, the Rhine legions in Germany, Galba's furious unpaid soldiers, had already named their own emperor, Vitellius, the governor of Lower Germany, and the most extreme glutton in the empire. A man so heavy the sources joke he had to be carried by 4 men. The legions didn't care about that. They cared that he'd pay them. So Vitellius took the title and marched 3 legions toward Italy. Now Rome had 2 emperors. The armies met at Bedriacum in northern Italy on April 14th, 69 AD. Otho's forces, Praetorians and naval troops thrown together at the last minute, fought hard but were outmatched by the seasoned Rhine veterans. By evening, his army was scattered, and when the news reached him, Otho did something nobody expected. He didn't run, and he didn't beg for terms. He told his advisors that enough Romans had already died for him, gave away his money, ate a calm dinner, slept a few hours, woke at dawn, and stabbed himself in the heart. He left a note begging Vitellius to spare his men. Even his enemies called it the noblest thing he ever did.
Bro got the win in death.
But here's the part everyone forgets. We're only halfway through the year. 2 emperors down, 2 to go. And the back half of 69 AD makes the front half look tame. The bloodiest battle Romans ever fought against each other, an entire city burned to the ground, and an emperor dragged out of a doghouse. Otho got to die with dignity. Nobody else in this story does. Vitellius marched into Rome and immediately became exactly what everyone had feared. He threw the most extravagant banquets in Roman history, 4 full meals a day, deliberately vomiting between courses just to keep eating, bankrupting entire provinces to source the ingredients while the treasury bled out. And like Galba, he stiffed the wrong soldiers. By summer, the Eastern legions had had enough, and they had a candidate of their own. Enter Vespasian, 60 years old, a no-nonsense farm boy who'd risen entirely on competence, currently crushing a major revolt in Judea. No royal blood, no connections, but his troops loved him, and he held the one card that mattered, Egypt and its grain. Vespasian could starve Rome into submission without firing a single arrow, so he stayed in Alexandria, locked down the grain ships, and sent his general Antonius Primus to do the actual fighting. The 2 armies met at Bedriacum again that October. Vitellius wasn't even there. He was back in Rome at a banquet. His army was crushed in a brutal 2-day fight. 20,000 Romans killed each other, and the city of Cremona was burned to the ground. Vitellius got the news in the middle of dinner. He kept eating.
Bro had priorities.
By December, the enemy army was at the gates of Rome. Vitellius tried to abdicate. He literally walked into the forum to hand over the imperial dagger, but no senator would take it because nobody wanted to be anywhere near whatever happened next. So Vitellius did the only thing left. He climbed into a doghouse beside the palace kitchen and hoped nobody would look. They looked. They dragged him out by his hair, put a rope around his neck and a sword under his chin so he couldn't lower his head, and walked him slowly through Rome so everyone he'd ever wronged could spit on him. Then they killed him and threw his body in the Tiber, which, by this point in the year, was basically Rome's emperor disposal service. His last words, "Yet I was once your emperor," which left Vespasian, the farm boy, as the last man standing. And here's the twist. He was the only one of the four who actually understood the job. He didn't march in for revenge. He quietly fixed everything. He stabilized the currency, cut the waste, built the Colosseum with the loot from Jerusalem, and even taxed the public urinals, giving Rome the immortal line, "Money doesn't stink." He didn't execute his critics, and he founded a dynasty that gave Rome 30 stable years. So here's the final ledger of the year of 4 emperors. Galba, 6 months, beheaded, his head used as a bowling ball. Otho, 95 days, stabbed himself to spare his men. Vitellius, 8 months, killed in a doghouse and thrown in the river. Vespasian, 10 years, stabilized the empire and founded a dynasty. 4 men, and only one understood that being emperor was never about deserving it, buying it, or marching in with the biggest army. It was about not getting killed long enough to actually do the job. The Roman Empire survived because one patient farmer outlasted 3 disasters. Well, that was a bummer. But if you want every Roman emperor's death ranked worst to best, including Galba's bowling ball head and Vitellius's doghouse exit in full, click this video right here, and I'll see you over there.